all purposes.
How you doing?
I bet there's
Straight
something.
through?
I bet there's some reason to think that you might be the band.
Yeah.
For a special price tonight at $10. At this time, y'all, I'd like to give it up for my special guest, the Legends of Wrestling Comedy Show, the one and only Leaping Lenny Poffo. Y'all, let's give a warm round of applause for him.
Thank you very much. I am the genius, Lanny Poffo, a title self-proclaimed, yet who would dare to say I'm not appropriately named? I speak 11 languages. Escuchen, por favor. Santana comes from Mexico. Yo hablo más mejor. The French I speak is magnifique. They told me in Paris. My Italian's molto bene. I learned when I was 3. I speak Latin, Greek, and Russian, Hebrew, and Portuguese. I speak Swedish and Norwegian, and I'm learning Japanese. Aside from my intelligence, I'm cunning as a rat, and I shall put these attributes to use upon the mat. I remind the competition and every foe and fan, behold, the genius Lanny Poffo, the world's smartest man. Thank you.
It ain't a gimmick.
Now I'm going to tell you something that's not a gimmick. I'm not feeling really funny tonight. I'm going to try to keep it together while I very sincerely say thank you to everybody in this room that not only came up to me with the love, but the condolences for my mother who died this month on June 3rd, and she never recovered from 6 years ago when the Macho Man left all of us. And I just want to say thank you for that. And you know, Daryl Klein's a wonderful man, and he said that I didn't have to come. And you know something? Being here tonight is the best thing I could have done for my soul. Thanks to you. Thanks to all of you. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
And I just, if you're waiting for a punchline, there isn't one. I don't feel funny right now. I feel so touched by your love and your t-shirt and your t-shirt and my t-shirt. Ooh, yeah. No.
Coffee in the big time.
Yeah. Cup of coffee in the big time, yeah. Does anybody have a question for me before I start with some horrible jokes of mine? Who's got a question? You said you had a question. Who has a question? Oh, you asked, the comedian who was just on asked a question. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me. Okay. Randy didn't kiss and tell.
Oh no, here's the deal. You never knew what he was doing, but he never talked about it. No, because he was a man of action, not a,
Well, sometimes words too. And when he got older, it was all words. But I will say that the legal age of consent in Connecticut is 16. And according to every speculation, the people in question were 41 and 17. Looks like they made it. But I don't know. You see what I mean? And you can smell my finger if you want, but It's gonna smell like the inside of my nose. Okay, so any other questions for me?
Yes, one more.
Yes.
Your most memorable match.
Well, my most, does any?
I can tell you.
You can tell me.
I think it's going to be when you beat Hulk Hogan on Saturday Night's Main Event.
There's only one man smart enough to put Hulk Hogan down. The genius has a devastating plan. You're looking at the future World Wrestling Federation, who appeals to the modern thinking fan. When I emerge victorious with gold around my waist, I shall be the most splendiferous of all. Don't tell me Hulk is 6'8" and I'm just 6'2". Between the ears, I'm over 10 feet tall. He wants to wrap his 24-inch pythons around my neck and give his famous, "What you gonna do?" By the power of the genius and the world's smartest man, rely on my incredible IQ. Thank you. Here's the deal with Hulk Hogan. I was right in the middle because Randy and Hulk had a falling out when the mega powers exploded, the storyline was real, life's too short to hold a grudge. It's time for us to heal. But I was in the middle because I love them both. See, there's a lot of people that Hulk Hogan helped a lot of people in this business. And I was not the least of which. But then they would all come to Hulk Hogan and say, "What have you done for me lately?" I didn't want to be one of those guys. Because he did something for me in 1989. He took a jabroni and made him a star for 4 months. And just because he hasn't done anything for me since, when he got himself in a little bit of trouble with the racial slur, I got interviewed by a major cable TV show, and they asked me if he was a racist, and I said, "Let me explain something to you about Hulk Hogan. I aspire to be one half of the humanitarian that he is. And just remember that 6 years ago when that video was allegedly taken, he was going through the ringer because he was trying to keep his son out of jail with John Graziano, that he made a vegetable because they were speeding. And that's one thing. And he was trying to keep his marriage together. You never know what's going on in another person's mind. You have to walk in his moccasins. And let's put it this way. Besides my family, without my family, I wouldn't even be here. Without Hulk Hogan, I wouldn't have got the one brief shining moment where I drank from the silver chalice of success. I refuse to pull my friendship out from Hulk Hogan.
That's good.
You know, Daryl, you said I didn't have to come here because I'm over here. You're over here? I can't see anything. I'm 62 years old. There's a chance that I need glasses, but I'm too vain to get them checked. But I'm very proud to say that even though I'm 62 years old, I am actually stronger now than when I was 21. Wow. Yes. When I was 21, I couldn't bend it with 2 hands. Now I can bend it with 2 fingers.
Oh, man.
Are you with me?
Some get it, some don't.
Yes, I am a divorced man, as you can imagine. I didn't want to be divorced. I wanted to be a widower. I was laboring under a misconception that I was a great lover. It turned out she had asthma.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Warm it up.
Okay, maybe it was my fault. Daryl, here's what happened. I took her out on a date, and she got mad at me because I didn't open up the car door for her. No, I didn't.
Would you open up the trunk?
No, I didn't open up the trunk. Instead, I just swam to the surface.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Don't try to hijack my punchline, damn it.
It's a genius. Come on, man.
Not a genius. The title is self-proclaimed. But here's the deal. People ask me, Lanny, are you really a genius? Well, I don't like to brag, but listen to this. I play chess against a computer. Okay, I lost. But right after, I beat the shit out of it at kickboxing. Boom, kickboxing. Boom, I beat that computer at kickboxing. I lost at chess, but I beat it at kickboxing. Bam, take that. I'll show you. Do you know who my brother is? Ooh, no. So, the truth is, when you first asked me to be here, I said no. I said, how close are you to Washington, D.C.? How close are we?
Very close.
Half hour.
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
You see, I can't go back there because many years ago, I was in the library at Washington, D.C., and I found this really great book. So I thought I would check it out, and they said I needed a library card. So I tried to get a library card, and then they said, you can't get it unless you can prove that you're from D.C. So I stabbed him.
It's got dark.
Wow.
It's got dark.
Wow.
It's got dark.
Stabbed him to prove I was from Washington, D.C.
Wow.
That's Baltimore. That's Baltimore.
Is that from Baltimore?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's
Well,
Baltimore.
DC too.
Well, I used to go to Landover, Maryland, and you know that my favorite...
Cap Center.
My favorite
Cap
guy-
Center. Capital Center.
Yes, the Cap Center. But you know, I would always listen to DC 101,
There you
the
go.
Grease Man.
Oh
Remember the
my
Grease Man?
God. Oh my
Where the
God.
hell is the Grease Man? It's
No
gobbledygook. You know, it's
No
too
way.
bad. I would like to find him maybe on iHeartRadio, you know, because that guy is funny. I thought that was good.
Not
So
after
does
that,
anybody
okay.
have a question for me? Because if not, I would like to sing a song for you. What is that?
Hold your song. When did you discover your love for poetry?
I was in the men's room of the Howard Johnson.
That's not how I thought it would start, but all right.
That's kind of an off-the-wall comment. And, you know, the love for poetry, it all started with my 5th grade teacher. She was wonderful. And that was the way she said, Lanny, I think you could be a writer. And I said, who, me? And then I was like Casey and the Sunshine Band. Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet. And we're still friends today, and she's 77 years old, and she defeated Hodgkin's disease,
There you go.
4th stage.
All right.
And we're still friends. I just became a grandfather on March the 18th. Congratulations. Now, I'm part Italian and part Jewish. My grandparents that were the Jewish, I call them Zadie and Bubby, which is the Yiddish. You're Jewish, right? Did I pronounce Zadie right?
Yeah.
Okay, some people say Zeta. It's Yiddish for grandmother and grandfather.
Yeah.
And then my Italian side, it was nonno and nonna. My grandmother was Egittina Lencione. That's a plate of spaghetti and meatballs, isn't it? So, my daughter said, what do you want Harrison to call you? And I said, well, how about abuelo? I said, abuelo, what is that? Anybody can tell me what abuelo is?
Spanish for grandfather.
Yes, and I'm not even Spanish, but I speak better Spanish than Tito Santana.
He speaks Spanish.
¿Habla español?
Sí.
Yo estudio 2 años en la escuela de español, pero no es muy bueno, gringo español.
Es mejor que nada.
Oh, muchas gracias, pero no es muy verdad. Okay, anyway, and now I'd like to sing a very, very romantic song. A song so romantic. And listen, I've tried my hand at sex. Okay. I met her in a brothel on the shores of Singapore. And they said she was a hooker. Of this I'm pretty sure. I only had $10, but I slipped it in her hand. And it was grand, for she wore no blouses. I wore no trousers. We wore no underclothes. When I slipped it in her, I knew I'd backed her winner. What a feeling, no one knows. Off to the doctor, I left her where I blocked her, down where the bluegrass grows. Said the doctor with a twinkle, that pimple on your winkle will bloom like a big red rose. Thank you.
Genius, what was the song that you sung when Mr. Perfect was destroying Hulk Hogan's belt?
What a great fan you are. And I'll tell you what, we can only do one take of that, because when Mr. Perfect was destroyed, how many people remember?
Just watch it live. Yeah.
And you know, I could barely hear myself talk because he was making such a racket banging that hammer. I could barely hear anything. So one of the shards of the belt flew up and cut Mr. Perfect. And he was bleeding. And you couldn't see that on television. But he's such a professional. I'm going to tell you what, I love that man. That is such a nice person, Kurt Hennig.
Yes, he.
Yeah.
And I must also say that he died of an acute cocaine overdose.
Yeah.
And that is, just in case anybody, I mean, look, life's about choices. We all make ours. I say veer to the left on that one, okay? Let's don't say we did.
Right. Right.
Okay. What song was I singing? It was like this. When you're a genius and life can be grand, you comprehend, you understand how Hogan is laid to rest. I am the genius, I am the best. Thank you. Brian Greenspan is my friend from New York. He came all this way to see me.
Hi, Brian.
Where is your beautiful girlfriend, Tish?
I think she's taking a dump.
Okay, let's all go in there. You know, I have to admit, I got thrown out of that woman's job. I thought it said Lanny's. Shut up. What's that?
Is there room for another question?
Sure there is.
Real quick. You mentioned Mr. Perfect. So my question is, with all the talent that he had, the promos he was able to cut, his in-ring abilities, why was he never given the torch to carry the company? Why was he never given the heavy? Why was the title never put around his waist? With all that he had.
Okay. The question is, why didn't Mr. Perfect get a bigger push? The answer is, I was never invited to a Booker's meeting.
That's good.
You know, you never know what's going to come out of there. They can turn off your water just like that. Okay? And I'm not here to spread bad tidings, but how many people saw the DVD, The Macho Man?
Which one?
Which one?
The one that was
First or second? The one that you were.
the second one, the one that was my mother in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'll tell you what, I asked my mother if she would be in it, and she was mad at me because I accepted my brother being into the Hall of Fame. My brother didn't want that. He wanted the whole family or nothing.
Right.
But I knew that they wouldn't go for that because right before Miami, in that, the guy's name was John Laurinaitis. He gives me a call, and he says, how do you feel about your brother going in the Hall of Fame? And I said, Randy's wishes were that the whole family go into the Hall of Fame, Angelo, Lanny, and Randy, because the day that they put the Von Erichs in the Hall of Fame, he says, ooh, man, Lanny's better than Chris. You know, and I really was too, you know. And, you know,
Nobody's disputing.
no, listen, it's like, The Von Erichs were such nice people, but how nice are you if you kill yourself while your mother's still alive? Did you ever consider that?
Right, right.
And your mother's still alive, why don't you wait? You see what I mean? Because the damage that you're doing is so terrible. So anyway, they didn't think of that. But Carrie was like one of the nicest people I have ever met. The whole Von Erich family was nice. It's just that Randy thought that maybe Fritz should be in there and Carrie. But oh man, Chris, that's really terrible, you know? So anyway, I told him no, that my brothers, and then a few years later, Mark Carano calls me up and asked me if I would come to WrestleMania to be interviewed by WWE Network. And I said, see, what had happened is I had turned 59 years of age, I became the older brother, and in my mind, I realized that I could make unpopular decisions now. And it's like Star Trek, the needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few or the one. So I told Mark Carano, I have changed my mind, I want the Macho Man to go into the Hall of Fame. And he says, oh wow, thank you. Oh, I'm gonna find out, I'll call you back. So about an hour goes by, and he says, here's the deal, please kayfabe. That means don't tell anybody.
Oh yeah.
And he says,
Workers.
Yes, workers. He said, we can't do it this year because we only have one posthumous inductee, and this year it's going to be Paul Bearer. But if you can, that's New Orleans, but if you can wait to San Jose, California, and don't tell anybody, and don't put it on Twitter, and don't let it out, Macho Man will be next year's Hall of Fame. Well, I told my mommy, and she was not happy. She said, that's not what Randy wanted. And I said, I am the older brother, I can overrule him now. Because many times, and I said, besides, look at it this way. How many Macho Men are there? Just one. How many Macho fans? Millions and millions. Right? I did it for you. I did it for the fan.
The needs of the many.
The needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Let me ask you a question. Did I do the right thing?
Yes, you
Yes.
did.
Let me
Yes,
ask
you
you,
did.
can I ask you this though? Two questions. Would you, like, how do you think right now, how he would feel right now that he's in the Hall of Fame right now? And you think the Poffo family will be in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so, and let me tell you why. Don't mean to be ugly, but when my mother died June 3rd, I got condolences. You know, I've got quite a Twitter following, and then, you know, I put it out there, and everybody shared it. Next thing you know, it went into several newspapers. It went pretty viral. So my mother's death did not fall on deaf ears. She was noticed. She was the macho mom. Okay? When WWE did not send their condolences, that completed the trifecta of my father, my brother, and my mother. 0 for 3. And
Wow.
that's the way it is. Fuck you very much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for real.
But anyway, on the other hand, if it wasn't for WWE, Randy would have been the greatest wrestler you've never heard
Come
of.
on, man.
So give it to him, you know what I'm
It
saying?
makes
So
sense.
while you're casting aspersions, let us also admit that without them, there would be no Macho Man, or if it was, he would be like playing in the B Squad.
Yeah.
So, any other questions for me? Yes.
How did Randy feel about Hogan never really putting him over?
How did Randy feel about Hogan never putting him over?
He did though. He did.
Never pinned.
Meaning that he would never.
Oh, win, no, win, though.
Savage never,
Oh, win.
Savage never pinned.
Trust, I know everything.
You know what?
I'm good. Trust me.
Straight job.
He was the first.
Can you imagine that? A jabroni like me, he put me over and didn't put Randy over. But it doesn't make sense. See what I mean? I'm going to tell you a little story about Andre the Giant. Because it really means something to me, okay? It was December 28th, 1985, Buffalo, New York. Snow passed here. Except over there, they have the worst weather in the world. And they don't even close school when that happens.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
That's New York for you.
I go to this Buffalo auditorium, and it's that old depressing building, so dank and austere. And I go there, and there's Pat Patterson. He said, look at Andre. Poor guy, he doesn't have a deck of cards. He's going to be bored for hours. That's all he wanted to do was play cards in the locker room. So I went upstairs, and I found a woman who seemed like she had a good attitude. I gave her $10, and she went out and got a deck of cards for Andre and told the man that was waiting to summon me when it happened. She tried to give me back my change. I said, keep the change. She looked full of snow. I would have not been able to do that trip. I couldn't leave the locker room. And I came downstairs, and there seated was Andre the Giant, all sad and miserable. And I was standing, except we were the same height now. And I said, Andre, voila. And I gave him a deck of cards, not any deck of cards, but it was Bicycle, the finest cards in the world.
Okay.
And he looks and a little tear comes here. And he says, merci beaucoup, monsieur. And he grabs me by my face and he gives me the European kiss on both sides of the cheek. And from then on, he called me boss man.
Did he not like Randy?
What's that?
Did he not get along with Randy?
Okay, the reason that Randy and Andre didn't get along is because Randy liked to put on a lot of baby oil right before he went into the ring. And Andre asked him, don't put the baby oil on the ring. And Randy says, here's the deal. Your gimmick is being a giant. My gimmick is baby oil. And there's two ways to handle Andre. You can get along easily or rough. Randy made it very rough on himself, but he never backed down. And I made a very stupid mistake with Randy. I said, Randy, why don't you just not wear the baby oil for Andre? And, you know, it's the path of least resistance. Listen, fuck up your own match. I said, okay, like, that was my opinion, you know, I don't know, I think he should have not worn the baby oil for Andre, but instead, he lost a lot of hair and, you know, whatever, it was much worse. Actually, you know who I really love is Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes.
Yes. It was right before WrestleMania 3. I was going to be in a dark match. I don't know if you know what who knows what a dark match
Not
is?
televised.
Not televised. That's when they use you to practice their focus and everything. So what they did,
Oh yeah, KT.
you know, when I was a boy dreaming of being a wrestler, being in a dark match was not my ambition. Okay? Boy, I hope I grow up and get in a dark match. No, that's not what I wanted. So Gorilla Monsoon, he says, where's Leapin' Lanny? And I said, right here. And he grabs me and he pulls me into the room here. We're in a room now. I'm in the room with a gorilla. And he says, I went to bat for you at a Booker's meeting, at a TV production meeting, and I'm hoping you don't make a monkey out of me. I said, I would never make a monkey out of a gorilla. What did you say? And he says, Andre is the biggest star in wrestling, but we want to make him a vicious heel before his match in Pontiac, Michigan. And we were looking for the sacrificial lamb. And I said, Lanny can handle the job. And I said, what do I have to do? He says, what was so funny?
Nothing.
Did you take that? Did you take that
very
sexually? It's a race to the bottom, and you're winning. Okay. So I don't know. Does anybody know what a getting color means, or?
Blood.
Yes, and in the old days we used to.
Slow down.
In the old days we used to do a self-inflicted razor blade wound to the head, but they stopped doing that when they proved that HIV travel through blood. Okay? So we didn't know that then, but I think they just found out the next day. So he says, so anyway, do you think I got enough blood? Does anybody remember? Okay, I got plenty.
Yeah.
And then Andre was very happy. And then many years later, the greatest thing happened to Andre. He made that movie, The Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And he used to carry several copies of the VCR in his suitcase before there was DVD. There was,
VCR?
remember that gimmick? So
The DVD player for that little thingy.
what he would do is he would invite me to his room. He would give me the menu of anything I wanted, and I mean finest red wine from distant lands and everything. It was all on him. And all I had to do was watch The Princess Bride with him. And he said,
Andre.
Lanny, what did you think of my performance? And I said, Andre, magnifique. Oh, Lanny, you're so nice. Yes, but I don't put up for giants. Fortunately, he wasn't giant all over. Okay. Anyway, so I have to admit, after 6 performances of The Princess Bride, I was starting to gain weight. And I didn't have the guts to say no, so I started hiding from Andre. Lanny, come back here. Come back and just watch the movie with the Andre. So anyway, does anybody have another question?
Yes.
Well, yeah. What's your IQ? Since you're a genius. I'm just curious.
My IQ
Yeah.
Don't tell him.
is, I don't like to brag, but I graduated in the top 3/5 of my class.
Okay.
I graduated, thank the Lottie. I'm a high school graduate, and I was an underachiever in school. The genius thing was just a gimmick. Now, as a matter of fact, you think that stuff up. Since I didn't have big arms, I pointed to my head. If I had big arms, I point to my arms. So I'm just trying to get heat. That's all. And let me see.
I got a question.
Yes, are we pressing our clock here? Is there any?
No, we're good for right now.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get the hook when it's time.
Is there any chance that you wanna like? Is there anybody back in the day that you ever wanted to
Is there any what?
Anybody you wanted to have a match with back in the day?
Well, back at the
No. I said, back in the day, is there anybody you want to have a match with? Like that you didn't have?
remember Raquel Welch?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
she's like 80 now and she's still hot.
Still, yes, she is. Yes, she
And
is.
I remember I had a black and white television set in my room when I was growing up.
Uh-oh.
And my father actually walked in on me
Oh.
when I was pleasuring myself.
Oh no.
And he says, if you don't stop that, you'll go blind. And I said, Dad, I'm over here.
Two-part question.
Yes.
Okay. A, did you ever put over Sherry? That's the first question.
Oh,
And secondly, do you remember your poem for SummerSlam '89, Savage and Zeus versus Hogan and Beefcake? Because that was probably one of your better ones.
Okay, no, I've never wrestled Sherry, but I'll tell you what a lovely person she was in another case of overdose. But she was wonderful. And you know who I just saw just 2 weeks ago? Rockin' Robin.
Oh,
She was like so nice.
wow. She's awesome.
Yes, and so let me see. The Zeus poem. The only thing I can remember of that one is
The ending was perfect. The ending
Um,
was, yes.
I don't know. Hulk Hogan made. How do you remember?
I'm trying to remember it now. I can't go verbatim, but I know the very end was tonight the Hulk should be in second place, and then you turned around, walked off, Savage comes out, and it was like the perfect segue to the match. It's just one of your finer poems. As I can remember. One of the best.
Thank you. And does anybody remember my Hall of Fame speech? in the WWE Hall of Fame 2 years ago for my brother?
I don't remember word for word, but I remember that you had a.
I remember it was
I remember the
amazing.
poem, but I didn't remember the word for word.
I stand before the Hall of Fame in honor of my brother who seized each carpe diem day with passion like no other. Born Randy Mario Poffo, he became the Macho Man. Randy Savage made it cool to be a wrestling fan. His match with Ricky Steamboat in 1987 was on a scale from 1 to 10, much better than 11. He snapped into a Slim Jim with his iconic voice. He earned a role in Spider-Man, which made his fans rejoice. When the mega powers exploded, the storyline was real. Life's too short to hold a grudge. It's time for us to heal. In triumphant jubilation, we celebrate his name. Finally, the Macho Man is in the Hall of Fame.
I actually want to go further back in WWE. I want to go back to Memphis, especially when it came to you and Randy versus the Rock and Roll Express.
Still cake.
Yes, and especially when Macho Man was the first to put anybody through a table. But going back to your Memphis days, what memories do you have with Jerry the King Lawler and the Rock and Roll Express and that whole territory?
Okay, thank you for that question. And looking back, it's amazing that God opens doors, right? Mm-hmm. But this time it wasn't God. His name was Jimmy Hart.
Ah.
Jimmy Hart is the man that opened the door for my brother. And Randy always thought of, got any room for Lanny? Yeah. So, and then what happens? It was Jimmy Hart again that opened the door at WWF, WWE. And Randy said, yeah, you got any room for Lanny? Boom, I come in again. And then one thing leads to another, everybody gets excited. Randy doesn't like Jimmy Hart anymore, for some reason because of the Hulk Hogan thing and whatever. And all Jimmy Hart got for his generosity was tired. So every time I see Jimmy Hart, I always say, on behalf of the Poffo family, thank you for opening the door in Memphis, New York, and WCW for everybody. And it's about time he got some recognition. When you see Jimmy Hart, and he's going to be booked
He'll be
here.
here next month.
He's going to be booked here. You tell him I said, I love that man so much. And he didn't get any credit for what he did. But he's going to get it now. Because I've got a microphone and I've got an audience. It's you. You tell him what I said, okay, please?
Say it right here. I'll play it for him. I'll be here and play it for him.
And tell him the policeman is your friend. Yes.
I have a question for you. Being a second generation wrestler and being such a good character, but being so innovative with your offense and your work, how do you separate your passion for the way you was a character and the way you wrestled? Because you had to have certain kind of matches based on your character instead of going out and wrestling all the time. How did you feel about that, and how passionate were you about having good matches as far as a competitor?
Man, is that Raekwon the chef?
Okay, see that?
Raekwon back there? That's my boy. Man.
See, the Macho Man was to wrestling what Iron Mike Sharp was to taking a shower. Okay.
I'm out here. Bring this down. Bring it. Yeah.
Okay, you know Mike Sharp?
Yes.
He had OCD, and he would lather, rinse, repeat, lather, rinse, repeat. You know, he was like 1 hour showers were like if he didn't have time. You know, and like 3 hours in the shower. The Macho Man used to like review every match like ad nauseum. Okay, like so much. Like he would, okay, enough. You know, my idea was do your best and forget the rest. I had, as Leaping Lanny, I was a suffering hero. As the Genius, I was a character close to Inspector Clouseau, played by Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther. I knew that, you idiot. That was only testing you. Like I thought I was smart, but I was actually not too smart. And I was always trying to get my dignity back. which I never did. My pants would come down, and I was like, you know, pie in the face,
Yeah, a lot of comedy stuff, right?
cut my hair, but yeah, comedy.
Right.
And I would always act effeminately, but deny it. I am a monogamous heterosexual. Are you questioning? Oh, no. So, you know, you just look like one, smell like one, act like one, and everything, and I walk like that. Because you know why? I had already been beaten for like 6 years. They were done with Leaping Lanny. In order to become the genius and have a break, I needed to reinvent myself. And since everybody was like Bad News Brown, you know, mean, ugly guy, I said, well, I'm not a mean-looking guy. I mean, looking like a game show host, you know. And so I decided to do the comedy. Okay, I'm the only one doing it, so I did it. And Hulk Hogan got me to the side and he said, Lanny, you're wrestling like a fag out there. And I said, you want me to stop? He says, no, it's getting over. I love it. I want you, as a matter of fact, can you turn the dial up? Because I've got an idea. Would you mind if I mocked you? And I said, let me think. He's Hulk Hogan, and I'm not.
Wow.
I think I better let him mock me.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Unless I like being a jabroni. You know, actually, you know, you start, when they make you a jabroni, you start feeling like one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've got what I call reverse psychology.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
That's okay. You know, you're in the front row, you can talk. But, let's see, what is it called? You know, I've had a few concussions. What's that disease when you can't remember anything?
Alzheimer's.
That's one, but
Dementia?
Dementia.
Amnesia.
reverse amnesia. Yes, on the nose, you win. Yes, reverse amnesia. In other words, I have selective amnesia. I only want to. I was in 23 times in Madison Square Garden. Twice I was on the main event. I want to remember those 2 times, okay, and not the other 21 times. So, where I was enhancement for somebody that, you know. So I hope I answered your question. Some people never get out of their character. I wondered if if the character of the Macho Man sometimes consumed him in daily life. Sometimes I couldn't tell the difference myself. Oh, no.
The only reason I really asked because when you did like get to the wrestling aspect, you were so good at it, and people slept on that aspect of you more of a character, not his work. And I just thought that was kind of.
Well, I appreciate it, and I, you know, like I say, I always believed in sports entertainment. If you're a good athlete, that's one thing. But the people paid money, they deserve to get a show for something for their bucks. And if you don't get it, you're not that dumb, you won't be back. Wow. If you get it, if you get more than you paid for, you will be back. Oh yes, you'll be back. So Randy's idea was, if you don't give the people everything you have, you're like a pickpocket or a shoplifter. Okay? Because they're trusting that you're going to entertain them. Don't make a fool out of the fans, because without the fans, this sport does not exist. It's supply and demand. And we owe you that. And we appreciate your support. You know, like, and the thing is, I would have preferred if 1,000 people would have been here today. More people outside than in that couldn't get in. But let me tell you what, and this is how I was raised by my father and my brother, who was my second father, because, you know, with the advice you got, you know, it might as well be your dad. He said, don't punish the people that came. Punish the empty chairs that didn't come. Because you got to give them the best show of their lives. That way, the people that didn't come are the ones that screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why he's a genius.
Anybody else? Yes.
I remember a long time ago, this is one of my moments as a kid, and we faced that WrestleMania 6 was Mr. Perfect against Bruce the Barber Beefcake. And at the end of the match, he ended up cutting your hair. Now, is there a backstory to that, or he just randomly improvised and took the jeans and cut his hair?
Do you still have the
Okay,
question?
Chief J. Strongbow was the agent that was in charge of telling me that I was going to get my hair cut. He didn't tell me I was going to get my hair cut. But the story that Brutus Beefcake has told everybody is that I was upset. I wasn't upset. I wanted my hair cut, okay? Here's what happened. First of all, in my career, this is the third time I've ever lost a haircut match, okay, that had my head shaved.
The perms? Was the perm one of them?
No, the perm wasn't one of them. Sit next to him. So, what's that?
Luchas de Apuestas, man, yes.
Yes. So anyway, when I don't know if you remember, but I was in the Survivor Series. I was against Buddha's Beefcake, and I lost. He put me into sleep, and he's, I'll just take a little snip off your hair. And I said, no. I thought to myself, if I'm going to wrestle Beefcake, it's going to be a horrible match. So at least give him a nice pop by taking a whole big swatch off the front and throwing it up. That way we'll get a pop. So he did that, and then when I was in tag team matches with Hulk Hogan and Beefcake against Mr. Perfect and myself on main events, they would beat me, and then Beefcake would cut my hair every night, and I didn't mind because I was on the main event of the evening, okay? And by the time WrestleMania 6 came around, I looked like I had been under chemotherapy. So I wanted to start over so I could get a wig and then act really, humiliated when they took it off, and I would go, oh, how could I ever live through the shame of it all, So Beefcake is, I'd say, mainly full of shit, okay? And at least when you come to me, you'll get the truth. It's true that Strongbow didn't tell me, but it's also true that I kind of knew since he had cut my hair every night. Why wouldn't he do it at WrestleMania? If we can pop the audience, let's do it. And then the fabulous Molly Holly took that to the WrestleMania, and by the way, a lovelier person you will never meet.
I've met her.
Very, very nice.
I heard
Yes.
great things about her.
Yes.
One question. Did Randy ever talk to you about the whole Luger-Liz situation? Is that something you can comment on? Or?
Yes, Randy did not blame Lex Luger for the death of Miss Elizabeth, and it was I think Elizabeth was 41 years old, and when you're a grown woman, you have the authority of what goes into your body and what doesn't. If I come to your house and I overdose, is that your fault? I'm 62 years old. How is it just because I'm in your house? What if I took a pill and overdrank and everything? How is that your fault? So we're living in it's not my fault culture. Hey, it's not my fault. No, it's the person's fault who took the pill. It's the person's fault that mixed it with drink. It's Judy Garland again and again and again. When will the madness end? Smarten up, people. You can't mix pills and liquor. If you're taking a pill, skip the liquor. If you're taking liquor, skip the pill.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Thank you.
But I asked Jay Strongbow, when they first gave me the gimmick, I said, is there some way you can tell me who I'm going to wrestle earlier in the day so I can prepare a better poem? And he looks at me and says, I hate your gimmick. So I didn't want to tell my brother, I didn't want to tell Vince, I didn't want to stooge. So what I did was, I said, well, I'm not going to get any cooperation from this man. So I got myself one of those 49-cent spiral notebooks, and I wrote a poem about everybody I could have possibly had a match with, and then generic poems if they give me a special surprise. So that's how I did it. I didn't get much help.
What type of poem did you write about Bam Bam Bigelow?
Wow. Just go right.
Why do you ask?
didn't care for it very much.
Okay, the reason I didn't like Bam Bam Bigelow is, number one, he never thanked me for losing a match to him, and I was his bitch, man. He beat me like 35 times in a row, all throughout the, and he never thanked me, not even once. Number two, he never washed his outfit, and he used to give me a leg scissor, and it smelled like a combination of ammonia and cat pee. And it made me kind of doubt whether I had made the right career choice. And the thing is, too, some people say that my father was a thrifty man, but I guarantee you, my father lived in scarcity so his family could live in abundance. On the other hand, Bam Bam Bigelow, nobody said he was cheap because he used to stay at the Acme Ritz Central Arms Waldorf Plaza every night. But before he died, he couldn't pay his child support in the newspaper all the time. So, in my opinion, there's your cheap guy, okay?
Wow.
And, no, listen, I don't mean to, get down on a guy or something like that. He got what he deserved in life. They gave him the greatest push in the world, and that's how he did it. So, and by the way, it wasn't about baby oil, but he made Andre mad, and Andre made his life miserable. so anyway, anybody else?
Yes. So, okay, people. On your poem, the first do you remember your first poem that you've done, and do you remember your first poem you used it on?
In the wrestling business?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Does anybody remember? I had to sit down because I'm getting older. Okay. Does anybody remember TNT?
Yes.
Tuesday Night Titans.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, I was a guest on Tuesday Night Titans, and I was afraid that I would be boring and never get invited back. So I said, maybe I can write a poem for the occasion. And I dressed in a suit of armor, which was actually $1,800 of theatrical armor.
I remember
The same
that
thing you
armor.
would wear on Broadway if you were Sir Lancelot in the Broadway musical Camelot. And so anyway, so I go out there and I said, look back through the annals of history and the Wrestling Hall of Fame, men from all nations with courage to spare who struggled to carve out a name. Now compare these high standards of valor to those chivalrous knights of yore, with bravery staunch as their armor, their glory both legend and lore. My medieval connection with wrestling relives that magnificent past, though mindless skeptics may snicker and scoff, the winner is he who laughs last. Alive with the love of wrestling, I appear on TNT between Vince and Awful Alfred, the hottest show on TV. I'm not your average wrestler, but I wouldn't want to be. I never scream or kiss my arms. I'm happy just being me. I call myself Leaping Lanny. I validate what I say to every single wrestling fan who's watching USA. Yes, I believe in miracles as God has blessed this great land. I believe the referee will soon be raising my hand. And the studio was where in Maryland?
Owings Mills,
Yes. I'm the nose. You win.
5 minutes from my house.
Yes. Do they still have a studio there?
No, it's long gone.
See how old we are now? And you have an exceptionally wide part.
I was born bald, I'm going out bald. So
What's that?
I was born bald, I'm going out bald.
See, that's probably, it's what you wish in the universe that counts. You probably, when you were young, you were probably hoping that you would get bald. And this is not what you meant. You get it? She gets it. Bald could be sexual, okay? So, anybody have a question? Then I'm going to tell you what.
Take us back to when your dad founded ICW in Kentucky.
Well, to tell you the truth, I thought I was the victim of that. Because Roddy Piper got me a top spot in Los Angeles, and I had agreed to go down there And then I got the news that we're gonna have an ICW, and I said, do I have to? And so I was reluctant to go, but I had to go because that's the family, and that's the reason that when I became 59 years old, I said Macho Man's got to go in the Hall of Fame, because I didn't always get what I wanted. Sometimes I had to be the younger brother, and this time I'm the older brother. I'm the alpha male. Not really, but the last man standing is the alpha male,
There you go.
comparatively speaking. And I can make unpopular decisions too. Yeah. You know, I live in Florida, and I can't go back to Orlando, I can't go back to Disney World, because I was texting while driving, and you shouldn't do that, and I hit the car in front of me, and I had to pull over. I got beat up by a midget, little person. I got beat up by a little person.
Lord Littlebrook, what happened?
I was texting and driving, I hit the car in front of me, I pull over, and a little person jumps out of the car, and he runs up to me and says, "I'm not happy." And I said, "Okay, which one are you?" Can anybody name them? Can anybody name all 7 dwarfs?
There's happy, grumpy,
Fuck it.
How's it go?
there's happy, grumpy, sleepy, sneezy,
Doc.
dopey. There's one more.
Bashful.
Bashful.
There you go. You know your dwarfs.
He lives in a small house too, so he lives in a little house.
Anybody have a question for me?
Yes. What was your most, now favorite match that you ever wrestled in?
My least favorite match.
Beefcake.
By the way, can I just say a little comment?
Sure.
As comedians, both of you are fantastic, and I loved your performances so much. Really. And there is no punchline. I'm trying to be sincere. Both of you were phenomenal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, careful.
Oh, right.
Okay.
It's an honor roll, yeah.
What's the least favorite match of my life?
Yeah.
Anything to do with Big Boss Man.
Okay.
I was his bitch there too, you know what I mean? And we were in Newfoundland of all places. Newfoundland. And no TV cameras, and it was a cold building. And he had that Bubba Slam, and he was, whoa, man, he was hurting me, my neck. And I said, please, Big Boss Man, stop throwing me on my head. You know, I mean, you hurt me, and I'm really hurt. He says, "Lanny, I gotta get over." And I said, "You're not gonna get over in Newfoundland. There's no TV cameras here. We can walk through this." And I hated every day of it. And
What'd your brother do about that?
what's that?
I said, what'd Big Brother do about that one?
I never told him. That's why.
Thank God.
Yeah, I didn't go to Randy with my little complaints. He had enough. He would always make a mountain out of a molehill on his own. He would have gone, "What'd you do to my little brother?" Yeah. You know, I didn't want to see that. So I handled it myself, which meant I survived it. Also, I did not appreciate working with Adrian Adonis.
Wow.
No, that's.
He was a full-blown coke freak. And, but when you look at it, you know, when somebody screws you over, you don't have to get revenge. All you have to do is sit down, get a box of popcorn, and watch the movie, because karma will F you up better than I could have ever done. And in every case, every single case, all these people, you know, are gone. And I'm still here, and my neck is much better, thank you.
What about are you squared away with Valentine? Greg Valentine?
What's that?
Are you squared away with Greg Valentine?
Yeah, that was never even a thing.
Okay.
Okay, that was just, I did a promo, but I was going for realism. And I was trying to make it, you know, like, the fact that you thought it was real, I was hoping we would draw some business, that's all. I have nothing against Greg Valentine.
Okay.
Whoa, he's a walking volume.
And is there anybody you wish you had a program with that you just never got around to?
You've had your
I'm glad
butt
he
for
asked.
Maria Menounos.
Ah,
She came up to me after my Hall of Fame speech, and she was crying, and she hugged me, and she said, "Lanny, I loved your speech." And I said, "Kalispera, Maria." She goes, "You speak Greek?" I said, "No, I was hoping I would meet you, so I was practicing for a month."
Did you ever work Randy at all?
Not in the WWE, but before, when we had our own promotion, we worked every night.
right.
And he was like butter. Except for that elbow off the top. That would knock the CO2 out of your ears. Yes.
Craziest fan interaction, and what was the craziest thing to ask your autograph?
Okay, the craziest fan interaction? When a fan asked me to sign her boobs, you know, I always thought that was like a little strange. And
Here we go.
Do you sign them?
Here we go.
no, because that would be like proof, you know what I mean? So, and what was the second question?
Well, the craziest fan interaction, and what was the craziest thing to ask you to sign? So, in a sense, instead of
What was your craziest fan interaction?
Craziest fan interaction. You know, when I was 12 years old, I asked Art Linkletter for his autograph, and he told me to buzz off, but he didn't say buzz. That was the craziest fan interaction I've ever been in, because I was the fan, and it hurt. And I said to myself, if I ever become of any stature that I would sign an autograph, you can make somebody's day or ruin it, and I choose, I've never been too busy to sign an autograph, ever.
That's right, John. This ends this portion of our show. Let's give it up for our guest here. LANNY POFFO, y'all. Thank you, Lanny, for coming out, man. It's a pleasure having you out here.
Thank you, Lanny.
Office, this is our recording studio. So we got this.
Love the carpet, the $100 carpet.
That's right. Is that? This is my assistant's office. She's an A&R. A&R stands for Artist and Repertoire.
Sure.
What she does is she helps me get some artists in the door. She'll make the calls for me that I'm too busy making. But what she does is she'll schedule the appointments with like Jay-Z or whoever. We cannot get anybody signed. Nobody can get anybody signed as far as artists. It's up to the artist. We can get them in the door, but the artist has to have that one-hit single and also be marketable. A lot of people get it twisted. Everybody's like, "Oh man, I can get you signed." No, that's not how it works. What happens is you have to have that one-hit single and be marketable, and then everything else falls through. So if you come down the hallway, more artwork. Here's some of the artists from the area I've worked with throughout. This is just like a very short portion of it, man. Artists that have been signed and done millions of different things.
There's definitely talent here.
This is our private poker room. We're gonna turn that into our private poker room.
Okay.
And as you come over here,
What's this
barbershop. Barbershop.
Are you kidding me?
me? Piercing parlor.
Sweet.
This guy, I never see him. He comes in and paints pictures whenever
He's
he
just.
wants. Fucking nuts. You got that. Tattoo parlor.
Is it open?
Outside. They are open. You want to get tattooed?
Asian?
They do tattoos. They're really good. Their prices are really good too.
Nice.
So you got that, and then behind us is our fitness center.
This is someplace you don't probably go to, so.
Fitness center. We train people, martial arts, MMA,
Wrestling.
everything possible. That's right.
This is the room I'd probably hang out.
Me too. Yeah.
Because A, I'm a professional wrestler. I'm in pretty good shape,
Second,
you know what I'm saying?
second place in the counties.
I can show you guys some movement too. I won't do it right now. But in case the money's right, I'll get you on the map, bro.
I've been in this map before.
You've been in this map? On this map?
Yes. Well, not particularly, not particularly. but I've
So
been-
basically, lie to me. This map. So don't lie to me right now. Okay, man. That's not the proper time.
He's been on AMAT. Does that count?
He's been on AMAT. So let me just say something here. You know what I'm saying? Right here is where I do damage, where I do work. This is where I make my money. You know what I'm saying? It's not change. It's the kind of money that folds. You know what I'm saying? Do you know about the money that folds? Of course not. You're wearing a Macho Man t-shirt. You, I'm telling you, so I can make money with you. I won't right now because I don't sign contracts, okay? But this is where I make my money, all right? So you guys want to learn and make me money, make a little money on your side, yourself, you come talk to me, all right, man? You understand that? That's how you roll. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. I'm going to have my bureau here eventually. Somewhere around here, okay? I'm from bro. I just
Where are you working at? You working big time?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm all at AV Tech, Communications.
Okay.
I work for a Fortune 500 company.
Everybody know has shitty jobs. Do they have computer jobs or some bullshit? I need friends that work at food places. Me being a food guy, I need a good friend that works at Armand's Pizza or Popeyes or Lido or something. You know what I mean? So this is what we're, you know, this is like the behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
Where do you work at?
Construction.
Fucking horrible job. How about you, a food place?
I work overnights at Pepperidge Farm, and then I work during the days at Potbelly.
Oh, motherfucking my man, 100 grand right there. You're the shit. My new best friend. There you go. That's how you gotta do it.
Listen, I can look. He's contracted to me. He signed to my deal. So I tell you, you and I can talk. We can talk numbers, and I can help you out. All right.
We're gonna have to do,
I
yeah,
can
we're
help you
gonna have
out.
to do
I
some
represent
business.
everybody in this room. So
There
we're
it
good
is.
here, all right?
That's it.
We're good here. You know what I'm saying? You got a great place, man.
We're
You got a
ready
great
to
place.
kick it up a notch.
Multifaceted, man.
Everything.
This is-
I also have a, did you see the
It's like a
escape room?
one-stop shop.
An escape room?
I got escape room here. Let me see.
Escape room? What?
Everybody gets an escape room.
Goddamn, everything.
Don't you understand what that? My next door neighbor had when I was going to prepare for that 2012
Let me
apocalypse,
see,
but
let
it
me
never
see
happened.
if I got my keys. Come on, let me show you more.
Oh, see, you want to, hey, come on, hey.
Ah, the devil right there.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even on that side of the board. You understand that? I'm from Washington, D.C., from this area, grew up in Eden.
There it is.
That's it right there. But I had to be competitive, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. Make us the Dallas Capital.
Yeah, you have to.
Well, no. I don't like Dallas. I'm fucking telling you. You got it twisted, brother. Where are you from? Are you from Texas?
Can I see your
Are you
your
tap?
tap?
Yeah.
What's your tap? Which one? Okay. That's Maryland.
So so you know he's
Born and raised.
Redskins, bro. So you're actually from Texas.
I was born in Dallas.
Then you know what? Hats off to you. Because that's respect right there. I can deal with that. But if he said, oh, I'm from Maryland.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah, I
Dallas,
hate
what
those
the
people.
fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, I hate
Because you had Texas Pete's hot sauce, you are like,
No, if you're living between PG and Southeast, you got Dallas Avenue and Texas Place.
So let me tell you a true story. I don't like Baltimore Ravens. I was at a club up in Gaithersburg called Buffalo Billiards about 15 years ago. And me and my buddy are sitting there, one of my friends was there, we're sitting there. And this guy comes up, this black dude, and he spills a drink on my buddy. And I grabbed this black guy, I said, yo, bro, what are you doing, man? You spilled a fucking drink on us. He says, fuck you, do you know who I am? I said, I don't give a fuck who you are, bro. He said, I'm Ray fucking Lewis. I said, I don't give a fuck who you are, man. You just spilled a drink on my buddy. What the fuck, man? He says, I'm from Baltimore Raven. Plus, I just got off a murder charge. I said, oh, I don't care. Advertise. That's how bad it was. So I told him, I said, okay, so you got a little bit of clout. Why don't you say excuse me to my boy and buy us some drinks? So we got a big altercation. That's the only reason I don't like Baltimore Ravens. Talk, man. You know what I mean? If I spill a drink on you, I'm gonna fucking buy you a drink. I'm gonna apologize.
Right.
Hey, man, my fault. That's the man I am. All that other punk shit, man, fuck that. It's just for the murders, man.
We live by a code here.
That's right. We do live by it. Where are you from?
In Virginia.
What's your nationality?
Close enough.
Hispanic.
From?
El Salvador.
I'm Peruvian. So,
Really, you're Peruvian?
yeah.
Oh my God.
Peruano mixto. That's right.
There you go.
Where's that from?
Cool, man.
Honduras?
El Salvador. My parents from El Salvador.
Same thing.
Well, he's just from here, man. So he's in Dallas, Texas. He's
Right.
So we should do some slam matches out here.
I got you, bro. I got you. I'm a trained worker, brother. You're not a worker, so don't even.
You're gonna train, but yeah, you're not gonna train.
I'll train. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
I'm the real deal. I'm the real deal.
Let's go to the escape
Me
room.
and Lenny almost, we talked, we were working out a deal, but he's like, my hips hurt. And I was like, Lenny, it's okay. You're good to go, bro. I won't embarrass you. You're here. You're the special guest. I'll drop a savage elbow on you. I'm not going to do it today. That's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. So, yeah, I love it. This place is great, man. This place is great.
I had another place around the corner from here for about 6 years. It was half the size of this. I got tired of people leaving like, oh, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta go do this. I gotta do that. I'm like, fuck it. You come in here, you can fucking hang out all day long.
Get a tattoo. Look, you come
tattoo,
for the
get
song,
your haircut.
get a tattoo, get a haircut, and work out. You don't need to leave this place.
At all.
Basically, this is the performance center. This is the performance center right here.
Well, yeah, our performance center.
I want to show you guys.
It's not your performance center. It doesn't belong to you.
So we have what we call the corporate team building center. It's an escape room. I'm gonna have him come back and show you this because he goes, shut this door behind. I'm gonna have him show you this. He goes crazy with this shit.
You know what happens when someone says that's not my stuff?
Oh, God, here we go.
You know what's gonna happen?
I know.
X-Men?
No, I just made it.
Kevin.
X-Men?
I just.
Hey, the list! Damn it.
That's what I'm saying. Shit. No.
Hey, you brought this on yourself. You brought this on yourself.
Dessert. Are you gonna get cigarettes and zombies, man?
So we take 12 corporate employees, lock them in this room. So when you come in here, you're greeted by a doctor. He's gonna say, hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 welcome, here's our rules. And so we'll come on in, let me show you here.
It's like the thing, you know, like things you see at the movies or something.
It's fucking nuts. So it's a corporate team building center. We started the franchise actually in this area, now there's like tons of them. So what happens is you press a button, this door pops open, and then you step into here. So once you come into here, you have exactly 60 minutes to work with 12 of your friends, 11 of you plus 11 other people, and solve all these different riddles and puzzles. As you can see, there's shit everywhere, so they're pulling it all apart. So what happens is we shut the door. And you are locked in here for 60 minutes. That's in your hand? Is that from his hand? And then we do this. So in the meantime, there's a zombie that's chained to this table. So Agnes is like, distracting you, trying to get at you. Oh, I saw her this morning. Yeah. Everybody thought she was like getting raped or something. Oh, that's her actor. So that's what goes on back here, man. Fucking just incredible. That's amazing. Very serious. And I don't know what the fuck that is. It must be something new.
There's a fucking hand here, by the way.
Is that Harvey's?
Oh!
Is that his?
Haji needs it. Does you see his hand now?
Thanks a lot. This is some I Am Legend stuff here.
I love it.
Nah, this is more, what's that shit called?
This is shit.
Saw?
Yeah, so, doesn't it?
Feels like Saw.
Fucking crazy.
Wait.
It's right there.
The webcam is right there.
Oh, it's like right there.
They're everywhere. But when you
I'm
come in
41,
here,
I'm
when
old.
you come in here, all this stuff is not in here.
Yeah.
It's all put up. It's all pulled in.
So is it like going off, lights going off and all
It's
down?
fucking nuts in here. Dude.
I could imagine. Fuck.
This is knucking futs.
You have an hour to do these team building activities.
Okay, I want you guys walking in.
What happens if you don't make it?
Hey, that's cool as shit, right?
That's cool as shit.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
There's this guy.
There's this guy.
Just kind of pants hands in his
I thought I was
pockets.
born to be in this place.
Duct
Something-
tape.
That's how we do.
Plays pocket pool.
Are they on live?
All bullshit.
You're on live.
I told y'all in here because there's possibly somebody may be infected with the virus and is turning into a zombie. So we need
sorry?
to check everybody's hands.
There you go.
They're good. We gotta check everybody's hands. Somebody is infected with the virus and is turning into a zombie.
Well,
Max, go over there.
Time out. Do you know what the first clue to turning into a zombie is?
Your hands.
Oh, yeah. It starts in your hand, in your left.
Damn, you are 41, aren't you?
Yeah.
Damn, you caught on late to that
What?
shit.
What's
Very
going on
late.
in your hands, bro?
Actually, there's another strain.
Don't bite it. Do
No, but
not
listen.
fucking bite it. He's doing
There's another strain to the virus, though, and it turns your eyes like really blue. And
fucking that shit. I can't see.
wait a minute.
El Salvadorian sign.
This is cool, man. This is cool.
Would that be El Zambio, I guess, for El Zambo? El Zambo, I guess, for your...
That sounds like a luchador.
So what do you think?
I don't want to pick a button.
You didn't show me this last time.
Yeah, I thought I showed you.
No, not this one.
That's because y'all was drunk.
No,
I fucking bring y'all in here. They got fucking good. 5:30 in the morning. They want to tour the fucking place. 5:30, man. Go the fuck home, man. Sun was coming up. Man, I heard roosters and all types of shit. That's weird when you stand at that lake and you start hearing that weird shit, birds chirping and shit.
Birds chirping. I
So
hate
what's
that
this
shit.
supposed to be like?
This is another section. I don't know what the fuck it is. Different games. He's got different things in there that you do.
Very good, very good. So we have to solve this problem. All right, let's get working.
I watched too much to know about this stuff.
Here's how it's gonna go
I've
down.
been practicing this stuff my whole life.
The first 48, right?
First 48. Guys, I'm in charge of this group. Okay, clearly, because I'm the smart. So, I want Walter, I want you to lay down on this table.
I'm there on this, so I can't.
We're gonna cut your guts out.
And we need to like accumulate like 30 ounces of blood or something, so we'll just cut your,
That's a real.
the ball table, yeah.
That's a real fucking
all time, oh yeah, you're right, because it would, the attachment would be here, and it would lead into like a,
Do you know how to use
that.
that? We should use Walter as an example.
No, I worked with Free Home for a year.
Oh.
It's not a drug. Clears or somebody's really infected. Fuck! Fuck!
You see me going like this right now, look. What the fuck?
Now I'm starting to worry. Is everything okay?
I would run through the fucking wall, man.
Oh, I'd be gone.
I'd tear down this whole fucking charges wall. He's JD, look at me. I've had people come in here and pass out, they're scared, they're like, you fucking kidding?
Are you serious?
T-minus 55 minutes. The self-destruct sequence will destroy all life in this all life in zone level 7 will be extinguished. The option to override self-destruct sequence expires in T-minus 55 minutes.
Wait, are we playing the game now?
I
want to exit.
Before I really turn.
Bad shit.
Many of you young people do not remember me, but I am 62 years old, and back before you were born, I was the genius of the WWE. And I wrestled against Hulk Hogan, and it was the greatest match of my life on NBC, Saturday night's main event. And I said, there's only one man smart enough to put Hulk Hogan down. The genius has a devastating plan. You're looking at the future World Wrestling Federation, who appeals to the modern thinking fan. When I emerge victorious with gold around my waist, I shall be the most splendiferous of all. Don't tell me Hulk is 6'8" and I'm just 6'2". Between the ears, I'm over 10 feet tall. He wants to wrap his 24-inch pythons around my neck and give his famous, "What you gonna do?" By the power of the genius in the world's smartest man, I rely on my incredible IQ. Thank you. Now, I am 62 years old. I am now a divorced man, and I'm a father and a grandfather. I have a grandson that was born March 18th. There's no punchline, it's true. So give me a hand. Yeah. And she lives in Lexington, Kentucky, my daughter and my grandson, so thank God for FaceTime. We didn't have that when we were growing up, but it's almost like being there. And anyway, are there any lot of you seem too young, but are there any wrestling fans in the audience?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I have a very famous brother. He passed away 6 years ago. He is the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I realize I probably don't look 62 years old to you. But when I was in high school, many, many years ago, believe it or not, I wasn't that popular. I only had sex one time in 4 years. And you know, I couldn't sit down for a week. I hated it so much, I'm sorry, I'd never do it again. It's a joke. But you guys look comfortable. I have to admit, maybe the divorce was my fault, okay? On our honeymoon night, the bellman took us upstairs and said, "You're sweet, sir." And I said, "I've noticed you too." And then, much later in the marriage, I might have had a Freudian slip. Does anybody know what a Freudian slip is? Yeah. It's when you go to say something and it comes out differently. I meant to say, "Pass the butter, honey," and it came out, "You fucking whore, you've ruined my life." But the reason she dumped me is because I had bad manners. I took her out and I didn't open up the car door for her. Very bad. I swam right to the top. Swam to the surface and left her in there. That was the problem, you see. Capiche? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Nobody? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, bye.
I do. What was it like working with Hulk Hogan?
I'm sorry, was that voice came from the DJ?
From up above. So what was it like working with Hulk Hogan?
Well, I remember I gave my brother a present. It was a DVD facing Ali. It was 12 jabronis that got a chance to have a fight with Muhammad Ali, and they went from the outhouse to the penthouse in one fight, because that's what facing Hulk Hogan is, like facing Muhammad Ali if you're a boxer. You go from obscurity to the very top, and I drank from the silver chalice of success. Oh yes, for one brief shining moment. Thank you, boss. And yes, it was a wonderful time for me. And that's the reason, no matter what happens, just because he hasn't done anything for me lately, I will always love Hulk Hogan.
You know what, speaking of course, about your brother, one thing that I just popped in my head, I remember when Macho Man came out with that rap CD.
Yes, Randy believed he would sell 80 million copies of that CD. Instead, he sold 80,000. And he took that as a serious failure. And he was very upset about that. So, you know what I'm saying? He had delusions of adequacy, delusions of grandeur. And plus, one of the critics really offended him. He said that he wrote something like it broke the laws of nature. It sucked and blew at the same moment. No. So he took that as a serious negative. Oh no. Anybody else have a question for me?
Yeah, did you ever wrestle Jake the Snake Roberts?
Many, many times I've wrestled Jake the Snake Roberts. In fact, I was his bitch.
Good God.
Yes. When I was Leaping Lanny, I was just a suffering hero, and they would put me with whatever villain was up and coming, and I wrestled Jake Roberts in every town. And finally, he wanted to tease me, so he pulled my trunks open, and he tried to put Damien inside my trunks. Damien is a snake. So he didn't know that I didn't mind that. I liked it. It was, I like reptiles and amphibians. Is that wrong? What two consenting mammals do is their own business. Anybody else have a question for me before I go on and sing songs and do wonderful things for you?
We had a discussion earlier about Damian Sandow and Jay Lethal. Could you elaborate for the audience that didn't get a chance to hear that conversation?
Damian Sandow actually saw me and asked me if he minded if I stole his gimmick. And I said, why should I mind? I stole that gimmick from several people. But when you copy from one person, it's plagiarism. When you copy from many people, it's research. So he's a very great man, and I wish him only the best. I said, I already made my money with my gimmick. Go ahead and take the ball as far as you can down that goal line. Okay, anybody else before?
We got a question over here in the audience, over here by DJ Booth. Go ahead.
I met him recently, and I met him for the 5th time. And
Was you ever on WCW?
what's that?
Was you ever on WCW?
I was never on WCW, but I was under contract with WCW, proving again, it's who you know. Oh, yeah. Okay, and anybody else have a question before I break into a medley of songs? Okay, what?
I got one. Earlier you said that either face Macho Man, they're times in WWE. Did you ever want to, or want to have a small little rivalry with Macho Man?
Okay, he asked me if I ever wanted to have a rivalry with the Macho Man.
Or just a match in general.
I was basically into doing as I was told. So if they told me I would do it, if not, I would not suggest it. But I really enjoyed working with him. He certainly knew how to get the best out of me and anybody he worked with. Anybody else before I break into, some of you don't know this, but I'm an excellent singer. Ha ha. What's so funny?
Should we get the band backing you up?
No, don't. The band will only confuse me besides they're doing drugs. Okay. I'm going to sing the most beautiful love song to you. Okay. Listen, the court won't go any further. Can you pull your chair up?
I'll call the police.
And what is your age, just in case? 19? I'm 62. I'm not middle-aged because I don't know anybody 124. Okay. I'm going to do this for you. I can't reach any further, so that'll keep me honest. Okay. I thought that love was just a word they sang about in songs I've heard. It took your kisses to reveal. I was wrong. Love is real. Hold me close and hold me fast. This magic spell you cast. It is La Vie en Rose. When you're with me, heaven sighs. And though I close my eyes, I see La Vie en Rose. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart. A world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be La Vie en Rose. Thank you. That was so sweet. It reminds me of another one. I met her in a brothel on the shores of Singapore. They said she was a hooker. Of this I'm pretty sure. I only had $10, so I slipped it in her hand. And it was grand, for she wore no blouses. I wore no trousers. We wore no underclothes. When I slipped it in her, I knew I'd back to win her. What a feeling no one knows. Off to the doctor, I left her where I blocked her, down where the bluegrass grows. Said the doctor with a twinkle, that pimple on your winkle will bloom like a big red rose. Thank you. That was so romantic, I thought. Does anybody have a question for me? What's happening?
I left. I'm getting
You're getting ticklish? You know, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm half Jewish, and my grandfather is Lithuanian Jewish, and my grandmother is from Belarus, also Jewish. So they were known as my Bubby and Zadie, and my Italian grandparents were known as Nono and Nonna. But my grandson, I have him call me mi abuelo, my grandfather. Oh, that's, I'm not Latin, but I think it sounds so cool. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I took 2 years of high school Spanish. I don't like to brag. Did you take any?
I didn't take any Spanish.
Oh, so I could really talk dirty to you, and you wouldn't know what it was. That's good. So, anyway, I'm so embarrassed. You know, I don't like to brag, but I am 62 years old, and I'm actually stronger now than when I was 21. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Yeah, when I was 21, I couldn't bend it with 2 hands. Now I can bend it with just 2 fingers. I don't know why I'm laughing. I should be crying. So anyway, see, I am a divorced man, as you can probably imagine. And I was laboring under a... Are you upset? Oh, good. You were laughing. Couldn't have been at me. Okay. I thought I was a great lover. I found out she had asthma. In the Garden of Eden sat Adam. He was stroking the loins of his madam. He was laughing with mirth. Just to think, here on earth, there were only 2 balls, and he had them. There once was a fellow named Lynn. His cock was the size of a pin. Said his girl with a laugh as she fondled his staff, "This won't be too much of a sin."
Wow.
There once was a fellow from Kent. His dick was quite long and it bent. To save him some trouble, he folded up double, and instead of coming, he went. A pirate, so history relates, was scuffling with some of his mates. He tripped on his cutlass, it rendered him nutless and practically useless on dates. And then I've got some dirty ones.
When your brother took the Slim Jim gimmick, I guess, did he ever bring any home for you, or any part of that? Or?
Nobody fed it to his dog, which gave him great flatulence. But see, I'm gonna, just to be perfectly honest with you, I'm on a diet of greens, onions, mushrooms, beans, berries, and seeds. I'm what you call a nutritarian, and I certainly won't put a Slim Jim in my mouth. And I don't eat tube steak either. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Okay, any other questions?
Do you still have your
Do
you still have your frisbees?
What's the strangest thing you've seen backstage?
The strangest thing I've seen backstage is Andre the Giant naked.
How was he?
And let me explain. He isn't giant all over. It's a pituitary problem. And have you ever seen the movie The Princess Bride? He had several of them in his bag. And he was, "Lonnie, would you like to come to my room?" And I didn't have the guts to say no. So he would, then, he used to stay at the Acme Ritz Central Arms Waldorf Plaza. And I used to stay at the Dewdrop Inn. And so, he was living a little better than me. And then he said, "Order anything you want off the menu for room service." And I would help myself. And I would imbibe in the spirits of distant lands. And we would watch The Princess Bride. "Lonnie, what did you think of the movie?" I said, "I liked it, Andre. You're wonderful." And then, about the 7th time I had been to his room and seen this movie, now I'm starting to hide from Andre the Giant. Like, come on, please. How many times can you watch The Princess Bride? I mean, if I were in it and had a speaking part, maybe I'd feel differently. But that's the way it was. He liked me, and can you blame him? Okay. Do you have any other questions? Because I'm starting to die.
Whatever happened to your frisbees? Your frisbee.
Aside from Bam Bam Bigelow, who was the next person you hated working with?
I would say Big Boss Man, because he was a very selfish person who tried to get over at the expense of his opponent. And he hurt my neck, actually. And I'm proud to say that I'm doing much better than he is right now. He's deceased. But I just feel that if you can't get over without hurting your opponent, you have no business in the ring. You know, that's the way I feel about that. And I think it's a little immoral. And I know morality is subjective. But does anybody have any other questions before I break into melodies of songs? Yes.
Your frisbees.
What about my frisbees?
Do you still have them?
No, I don't have them. I threw them all away. And I stole the idea from the Fabulous Kangaroos, Al Costello and Roy Hefferman,
Yes.
managed by Red Berry. You seem too young to know who I'm talking about.
I remember, but I've learned of the
See,
legends.
they had boomerangs. They were from Australia. They used to throw boomerangs to the audience. And as a young man, I used to run after them and catch the boomerangs. And on the boomerang, of course, they weren't real, because the ones they had were real. They were carved by Aborigines. And there were wooden things that if I threw one at you, you would be instantly killed. But these were cardboard ones with their pictures on it with a lot of information. And I thought, wow, as a kid, I enjoyed running for their boomerangs. So is there anything I could throw to the audience that would make such a stir? And then I got these scrolls all rolled up with poetry and threw them to the audience, and it barely made it over the guardrail. So that didn't fly. So then I said, what is it that can really be aerodynamic and really make an impression on the audience? And I said, I've got it. Frisbees. So I printed generic poems on the frisbees and threw them to the audience, and it really caused a furor. And I'm very, very happy that some of the fans have kept their frisbees. After that, they started selling them at the venues, and win, lose, or draw, I would go to the venues and sign the autographs. And we sold out every night for many years, and then they made me the genius, and it was no longer applicable to have a frisbee. So, does anybody have any other questions before I break into a melody of songs?
Melody of songs. When you were, when you said earlier that you were contracted on the WCW, did you feel like you wish you had matches in WCW?
I stayed home. I was in the sunbed. I was lifting weights, and I gambled my life with steroids. And all I got for it was my testicles shrunk to the size of raisins. And I fell into the bleak depression, and I stared into the abyss. Are you laughing at my suffering? It was self-inflicted.
Wow.
I've tried my hand at sex.
What was it like being Macho Man's little brother?
Well, I didn't know any other thing than being Macho Man's little brother. From the time I opened my eyes, there he was, dominating me at all times. Here's the deal. My little brother is a very, very strange young man. Yes. But yes, do you have a question for me before I break into a melody of songs?
Was Jake the Snake Roberts' snake as big as it looked on TV?
I'm sorry?
Jake the Snake Roberts' snake? Was it as big as it looked through his shorts?
Through his shorts?
Not Damien, the other one.
Take the snake, Robert, you carried the snake, right?
Yes, sometimes he had a python,
And a cobra.
and then finally he had another brand of snake. He had several snakes.
He had a cobra.
And he had a cobra, which bit my brother on the arm, remember?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
that was terrible.
Yep.
Yes, I don't want to talk about that much. He asked me, he says, do you think I should let a cobra bite me on the arm? He said, he's been devenomized. I said, I wouldn't let him bite me on my arm, but I'm not the macho man. You are. And of course, you know, sometimes you can have more guts than brains. Sometimes you can have more brains than guts. But I believe you cannot have both simultaneously. That's the way I feel about it. And I have chosen to have brains, not guts. I have no guts. I'm all brains.
That's why you're the genius.
That's why I am the genius full of glory and renown. Now, what would you like to hear a poem about?
Ted Williams. Do the Ted Williams.
How many people even know who Ted Williams is?
Educate him. You're the genius.
Are you a baseball fan?
Yeah.
You hate baseball?
I don't love baseball.
Do you love baseball? Are you a baseball fan? Okay, we're not going to do the Ted Williams poem because the popular table doesn't like baseball. I'm sorry?
They're not that popular. You're on stage, they're not.
Yeah, I'm the man here, sitting here because if I didn't have a chair, I'd probably collapse.
If you don't educate them on their history, they won't know where the future is.
When I was in Miami, a man came up to me and offered me $1,000 if I would do a poem for Ted Williams. And I said, okay, but if it's any more than $1,000, I won't pay you. Because I really wanted to do it, you see, because he's the man. So we didn't have Google like you have. I had to go to the public library.
What is that?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I didn't want to come here because I have a bad reputation in this part of town. See, about 20 years library card. I said, well, let me apply for a library card. So he says, well, you can't because unless you can prove that you're from Washington, D.C., you can't have a library card. So I stabbed him. That proved that I was from Washington, D.C. Fair enough? Okay. See, it's a very violent place. Okay. Anyway, there's Ted Williams and there's me. And in 1941, he hit 406. No big deal, but you know, if you get 10 at-bats, you get 4 hits, that's 400. If you get 100 at-bats, you get 40 hits, that's 400. And he was the last man to hit 400. And I know you don't like baseball, but it's a big deal, because nobody's done it since. So I said, through all of the magnificence that is Joe Robbie Stadium, the Marlins and the Dolphins' happy home, it gives me pride to introduce a man who was to baseball what Romulus and Remus were to Rome. Take 95 until you hit the Massachusetts Turnpike, get off at Fenway Park and there you are. Well, back in 1941, this man hit 406, and even now Ted Williams has no power. America anticipated every turn at bat to watch him knock the ball to smithereens. 521 home runs are even more incredible because he gave 5 years to the Marines. The boys who wrote the sports page never did him any favors, but for Cooperstown they had to tell the truth that Theodore Samuel Williams brought a splendor to the game, reminiscent of the late George Herman Ruth. And he grabbed me and he cried and he said, if I would have had you for a press agent, I'd have never had any problems. And I'll tell you what a great moment for me. And then what was even better, he was on the plane from Miami to Tampa, and we didn't have cell phones back then, but he agreed to meet my father. And then, since I didn't have a cell phone, I don't have a picture of it, but just like in Titanic, it exists now only in my memory. My father died in 2010, Ted Williams died in 2002. And it was one of the happiest moments of my life. I'm glad I could share it with you. Thank you. And now I'm going to burst into a medley of songs. What would you like to hear?
Darling Nikki by Prince.
Billie Jean with Michael Jackson.
I'll tell you what, I've got a bucket list that is a mile long. Things to do before I die.
You want to slam a comment?
I'm sorry?
You want to slam a comment?
Unless you hop, I won't be able to slam you.
I don't know how to land, but we can give it a go.
Unless you hop, because I'm not able to have my,
Can you still do cartwheels?
not even a close. Okay.
Let's see that one. Let's see the cartwheel.
So here's going to happen. There's this promoter from Scotland that invited me out there for X amount of dollars, and I said, the money's fine. I said, but I cannot wrestle, and I refuse to pull my trunks all the way up to my boobs to wrestle. And I said, because, you know, it's a little too late for me. I said, but there is one thing that I would like to try. That is to sing the Scottish national anthem in Scotland before your people. And he says, do you even know the words? And I said, who the hell do you think you're talking to? This is the genius full of glory and renown. So I'm going to give it to you, the Scottish national anthem. I'm practicing because in 4 months, I'm going to be heading out to Glasgow, Scotland to sing this song. Are you ready? Get ready for greatness. And I'm sure to let you down. O flower of Scotland, when will we see your like again? Who fought and died for your wee bit hill and glen, and stood against him, proud Edward's army, and sent him homeward to think again. Those days are past now, and in the past they shall remain, but we can still rise now and be that nation again that stood against him. Who? Proud Edward's army, and sent him homeward to think again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lincoln Lenny! And don't forget, he has his book tonight available for a special price, Wrestling with Rhyme by Lanny Poffo. Just $10, and if you get it tonight, he'll sign it for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lincoln Lenny!
Who you gon' call when you're back against the wall and you got no time to start? You need a warrior, hey, hey, well I'm a warrior, warrior. Who gon' come when it's time to get it done and you got nowhere to run? You need a warrior.